Are you someone who has gotten addicted to nicotine and you don't know how to kick the habit? Well, I feel you because I too was addicted to nicotine, cigarettes, tobacco, and at the recording of this video, I am 7 years clean, and I wanted to share my personal journey of my addiction with tobacco over the past few years. Let's get it. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. My name is Jamie Dottie Garza, and it's time to ignite the world. One of the stories I feel compelled on sharing is the fact of how I became addicted to nicotine, tobacco, to cigarettes. I know on this channel, I'm using my voice because I too was there. Especially in my 20s, my early 20s, even earlier than that. And this series, I want to talk about nicotine addiction. I've seen it happen with my family members, my uncles, my aunts, best friends, cousins, professional leaders nowadays. Like, I've seen them addicted to smoking cigarettes. And I too was there. You know, I was the kid growing up. I had uncles I look up to and admire, and they made cigarette smoking look cool. I remember at a time where, they used to flick their butts, that I used to try to come around and act like I was smoking the butt. That was me. I was the kid. Rest in peace to George the Ice Cream Man. If you know, you know. But I was the kid who would buy those bubblegum cigarettes, and, you puff it and the smoke come out. I was doomed since then. I already knew I was doomed. And sure enough, I remember, I think my first try at nicotine, I was in high school. I think I began working at McDonald's, and that's when Black and Milds were a thing, especially the wine. The wood tip ones, that was a big thing. I think we're talking 2005, 2006, hitting a black. What you doing? Oh, I'm gonna hit a black. Thought it was the coolest thing ever. It smelled good. And from then on, I remember my girlfriend at the time was like, why are you smoking? Like, she wasn't a fan. I think her family saw me outside smoking in my car and smelling like tobacco, but I thought I was cool, smoking that. But that led into, guess what? My nicotine addiction. Because after that, transcended into smoking cigarettes. And I didn't never think I was going to be smoking cigarettes. And it started with that. And one of the reasons I reflect back on is like, wow, first of all, we're talking, 2005. So it's about to be 2024 because we're in 2023. And I'm like, okay, that's like almost 18 years ago if my math is correct. And I'm just so glad that I dropped this habit before I got older. Like, I realized, and I'm going to get into it too, like how bad tobacco really kills you. You know those commercials? I know I do. I'm 34 right now, so I grew up in the era of those Is Wacko commercials and the truth commercials, and never really resonated, but I realized like how much lung cancer is killing numerous people out there. Now they have vapes now. Like, I never got into that really, so that's a whole different world, but it's an addiction. And if you're out there, you're trying to fight the habit, maybe this story can resonate with you. Walk with me. After I got into Black and Milds, I remember there was these Russian type, I forget where it's from, with tobacco. We went to the tobacco shop, me and my buddy. Shout out Alfie. What up, Alfie? We would get the Djarum Blacks. That's what it was. I was working at fast food, McDonald's and Arby's. And I realized that you could get an extra break if you smoke a cigarette. Voila! Hack unleashed. I was smoking cigarettes with the managers. I was cool with my homies. Anyways, it started with the Djarum Blacks. They were like a sweetened cigarette. And that's where it started. I'm like, okay, I'm not really fully into like a Newport or a Camel. And by the way, I'm not endorsing any of those brands, by the way. It's screw them brands, screw the cigarettes, screw tobacco. Like, tobacco's wacko, okay? And it was like a snowball effect because after that, I wanted more convenience. I didn't just want to go to the tobacco shop. So I started smoking Camels, Camel Crushes, and Newports. And then I began drinking, and also on this channel, there's my story about alcohol. You can check in the card above. If you're trying to stay sober, if you're trying to quit, check out those videos. I got a whole playlist for you guys. But what I was realizing going into my 20s, it was like, okay, I'm getting drunk, I'm partying. What's a good way to enhance this? Oh, let's smoke a cigarette. And then eventually it was just like a slippery slope, because I was also smoking to get breaks at work, right? I liked the buzz. Then I was associating smoking with after a great meal. And then I was associating smoking with just getting in the car, blasting some good tunes, some G Unit, some Dipset. I had the subwoofer in my car. Shout out to the Dottie Mobile. And I was like, I'm going to be flicking these ashes. And I thought it was cool, just sparking up a cigarette and blowing it out. And that was majority of my life, a lot of my life. And I remember buying packs weekly. And then I was working retail jobs like Best Buy. I was getting managers. I think this is the time I was like 21, 22. I'm doing music videos at the time. And a lot of people, rappers and rock stars, they smoked cigarettes. It was just to me, I associated smoking cigarettes with bonding, building relationships, sparking a cigarette and sharing, a story. Oh, can I bum one? Yeah, sure thing, man. I remember packing the packs and then flipping that one cig over. Yeah, I remember it vividly. And it was a nasty habit. I know my mom, she always hated that habit. It was a disgusting habit. I would always stink, but at that time, I actually liked the smell of cigarette smoke. The girlfriends I would date, they smoked cigarettes, so we would bond extra time and bonding. We'd go to the bar, we'd turn up, we smoke a cigarette. We'd do our thing, spark a cigarette after. It's a nice day, we chilling, summer day, let's spark a cigarette. We eat it, it was spark a cigarette. Like a lot of people, I remember some of my friends, they'd be like, ew, bro, how does she smoke cigarettes? I can't date a woman. I could. I love women. Matter of fact, my wife, shout out to my wife. She was my wife then in 2011, but she is now. But I remember I was turned on. I love the fact that, yay, you smoke cigarettes too. Let's just smoke cancer and get lung cancer. I didn't say that at the time, but that's basically what we're doing. We're killing our lungs. And I remember that was my life. I remember I used to dislike going to New York because, dang, them packs was like $12, $15, $12, $13. I remember coming from Virginia. I live in Virginia, just stocking up down here, going up there. That's probably even more insane now. I ain't been to New York in a while. That's kind of like how my journey began with cigarettes. Even from a little kid, I recognize now with the knowledge and wisdom that God has instilled with me, and just growing up as a man, as an individual, as a father, as a leader, as a husband, that I was pre-programmed at a young age, thinking cigarettes is cool, thinking this is normal. And I associated coolness with cigarettes, and I actually enjoyed it. I'm not going to hold you. I actually enjoyed it for the time. It wasn't until, and I realize now, again, guys, I'm 34, okay? 34 years old. I've been nicotine free for about 7 years, going completely cold turkey, I say, in about 2018, 2019, drifting here and there, like smoking here and there, as at a family barbecue or a night out with some friends, just let me bum one. But I've been like officially like lungs absolutely clean for about a year and a half. And also why I'm saying this is because I used to smoke weed too. So it wasn't even on nicotine, but, smoking backwoods, and that's tobacco right there. Putting funnel in my sheet when I roll up, that's tobacco. So I ain't going to hold you, but I'm talking legit quitting nicotine completely. I've been about 2 years, just about, and it's a long path. And one of the things to this day where I was getting to is a health issue that I still deal with this today. Now, back then, I would always have allergies in the springtime, but I would also get like a respiratory infection. And it didn't just phase away like most respiratory infections. In fact, I remember when I got married, I was like, man, I hope I do not get sick, because it was like this thing between April and May. As soon as I get sick, and it always led into bronchitis. They would have to put me on. They used to have to give me a breathing machine, a nebulizer. They used to have to give me like a steroid pump. They used to have to give me some medications to fight this thing. And it will always trickle into bronchitis. And I always wondered why. And because like I got hit with this like even last Christmas. I don't ever get sick. Your boy, thank God, I got a great immune system. I'm very aware of what I put in my body. I can combat a lot of things. I got caught slipping, and what just was just a regular, infection or whatever sickness I had, it led into bronchitis. So these are the effects I'm still dealing with to this day because of that damn tobacco. Why I say that is because I didn't realize what was causing this. And over the time and years, I realized the one culprit. Just burning my lungs, killing my lungs, smoking tobacco. I'm not surprised looking back now and what I know about business, because the tobacco game is a business. That's a cash crop. I live in Virginia. It's a cash crop. Them companies who sell cigarettes and now have dwindled off into vapes and stuff and targeting the generation after me. My cousins are in that generation. They're graduating high school, 18, 19. One of my cousins, she graduated a few months ago, and she was like, hey, you want to hit my vape? I'm like, nah, I'm good off that. And I said my little piece. And one thing it's a business. That's what I'm saying. It's a business to keep you hooked. They keep you hooked because they know you're going to keep buying and buying and buying. And eventually they don't care if you die because of it. It's a cold game. It's a cold, cold game. But it is the game. I just want to share this story to like encourage those others out there that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is light and life after being addicted to cigarettes. Now I can't stand it. Can't stand the smell. I don't want to smell the smell. I'm good. You pass something to me, I'm good. I don't care what it is. I'm not smoking it. I'm not smoking nothing. I'm smoking life. You want to roll some life up? Smoking life. What I'm drinking on, I'm drinking life. I'm taking the high road. It takes a lot of discipline, but that's what we have to become. In these times now, it's crazy out here. We got to be the best versions we can be. It's what I tell my cousins and people I love. I always felt bad. One of my best friends, I remember he was clean. I just texted him today, man. What up, Marcus? What's good, Mark, dog? I remember peer pressuring him. He was just a black and mild smoker when we drank and this and that. I was like, come on, man. Come on. Stop being a wussy, man. Come on. I was saying some other terms to him at the time, but I was pressuring him to smoke a cigarette. And I remember he did. And then we became chain smoking buddies. And I always felt guilty because I was using my influence for the wrong reasons. Like, why was I encouraging someone to kill themselves day by day, by smoking these things? I know a few people who died of lung cancer because they smoked too much, man. They couldn't kick the habit. Even it's just disturbing. But I recently texted him and I was telling him, I hope you don't feel shade by I'm making this video. And he was like, joke's on you because I'm 1 month free. I ain't buy a pack. I'm like, yo, congrats. And it just made my day. So keep it up, buddy. I know if you're tuning in, man, I know you're tuning in because you're my boy. And keep up the good work. And that's what it's all about. I just think now, like, I remember just how much cigarettes was keeping me back. It was just keeping me in bondage. Like I think about now health. I got 3 kids. They depend on me. My kids are active. They enjoy playing tag. I had to one-up them real quick. I had to show them how it's done. Oh, you think you can outrun me? Let's go. I got a 13-year-old who think he can be faster than me. I got a little nephew who's fast. They call him Shake. That boy fast. I had to show him up sometimes. I can't be gasping for my air like I'm coughing up a lung. I got a son who's playing baseball, and he likes to play tag. And I got a baby daughter who's not even one. And she's running around there. I got to be at tip top, and I want to be a great example. I'm trying to use my positivity to lead a better example. One thing I do want to talk about in this story too, because my wife, she was smoking cigarettes. I remember I stopped before her and she was, still actively smoking. I'd be like, come on, baby, you smoking again? And, she was in a retail job too. And that's a retail trap because she was hip too. Like, all right, bet. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to smoke this cigarette. I'm going to get this break. And it's sad. I know it's probably like the same way. I'm going to get this break. And now it's probably with vapes. And I don't trust vapes, first of all, because you don't know what's in there. At least with the cigarettes, you know what's going on in there. Yeah, there's some rat poison in there. Yeah, there's some tobacco. But all that clear stuff into a tube that's electrical and you can charge. Some sketch with that. I saw someone blow up their lungs or something. Prayers out to them or the family, because that's just rough. But, she was trying to kick the habit, and it wasn't until COVID. When COVID happened, she had a big scare. This is her story, but I'm going to tell a little bit of it. And after that, she just went cold turkey. And to me, that's the best way to do it, going cold turkey. It's the hardest way, but that's where it starts. You go cold turkey, just stopping, and then you stop with buying the packs. And then, it might be steps like, hey, I'm just bumming one here and there, but you really got to reverse engineer things. Like my wife now, we can't stand cigarettes. Even at functions, we don't smoke one. There's no need to. And it's cool because most of our family members are stopping cigarette smoking, which is great. But really, after a while, what are you really chasing? The feeling is just numb. It just becomes a habit. And it's just associations with things that you love that you spark the cigarette with. And I want to let everybody know out there, it is tough to stop this addiction. And there's so much more money you can invest in than buying, it's probably like $7 a pack, $10. It's up there than buying packs a week. I was going on, I never bought a carton though. That's one thing. I never want to go out that bad, just buy a carton. Let me get a carton of Newports. I was never trying to go out that bad, man. But I might as well. I remember at one time I was even smoking the hundreds, Newport hundreds. I'm like, Lord, what am I doing? And man, them things hit my lung different. Like I would cough up bad. I never did I cough up blood. I think at one time I was so hard headed that I was smoking and then I was sick, but I couldn't kick the habit. It just made me sick even longer. Just disgusting. Just even smelling my hands after. But I was ignorant. I didn't realize it at the time. Why I'm making this video and this content is for anyone out there who's one, wants to stop, or two, wants to relate to somebody how they started, or three, just showing you light that what is possible after. I just want to give some positive influence out there. Sharing stories that what I've been through. A lot of people see me now as like, oh yeah. No, you don't. You see me in my glory, but you don't know my story. And God has called me here to share more of my story, things I actually been through, things that are real, things I can speak about. And I know this is one of those things that it's a serious topic. I would strongly encourage anyone out there to quit while you're young. Don't let another day go by without you trying to quit. I know those withdrawals is going to be intense. I know those nicotine dreams, especially out there, are going to be vivid. I know you're going to be like Pookie and New Jack. This one boy hit. Like, for real. I know it was for me. And in the next few videos, I'm going to be making some videos on some of the strategies I use to go cold turkey and quit completely. But being full transparent, one of the biggest things was because I was drinking, and I always associated a good drink with a cigarette. I'm just so thankful now, being in the position I'm in, to have pure detox lungs. I'm just so grateful that I didn't have to end up with one of those things on my throat. Call me Kane. I'm a big wrestling nerd too, by the way. Shout out to Kane. I think he had one of those things at one point, or the dude from South Park. I'm just glad I don't have to go out like that, and I'm just happy that my kids don't have to smell a cigarette around them, or I'm just happy that God has blessed me with getting out of my vomit and seeing light on the other side. I love it over here. It's clean over here. You taste the air. One thing I love eating. I love eating good food. You know, I be fasting a lot too. So when I break that fast, it better be banging. But now I can taste everything. Like my palate isn't tarnished by nasty tobacco. It's a blessing. I don't smell. I don't reek. You know, I shake a lot of hands. I'm very active in my community. I serve my community a lot. I speak to a lot of kids at high schools and a lot of children. And one thing I'm glad that it won't be a disconnect when, you know, if they are inspired by me because, oh, you make video. Kids love the fact that I make video and they want to aspire to it. I'm like, do it now. Build a channel, build a following, create some content. Do it now. I'm just glad it's not a disconnect when after I'm done speaking to the kids or something, here I am sparking a cigarette and promoting any of that, because that's just not cool, period. Like, and I got a daughter now, man. I look like smoking a cigarette. Like, daddy smokes cigarette. I'm not trying to make none of that cool. I already and drilling my kids like tobacco's wacko, man. Don't be an idiot like me. That's what I tell them. Be better than me. Be better than me. And I'm going to teach you the game early. You don't got to make these mistakes. Learn from it and excel and stay this narrow path. Don't pollute your body. If I could take it all back, would I feel like I had to learn the lesson. I'm one of those, I'm hard-headed sometimes. I got to learn the lesson. I got to go through it before I get to it. But I wouldn't have been addicted as long as I was. And that's real. So anyone out there, the stories I shared, I'm thankful for the stories we shared over a cigarette. I've had a lot of great conversations over a cigarette. I've bonded over a cigarette. But when you take that part out, I could bond, have relationships without it. I'm a man without it. Ain't that what he said? John Witherspoon. Oh no, Craig on Friday. You win, you live 5 another day. I'm a man without it. I really feel, you know, I should have quit earlier, but it's okay. Can't change the past, but we can change the future with what we do now. If you're out there, I feel you. If you're just starting your journey, congratulations. Let's keep it going. If you're thinking about quitting, would strongly recommend top tier, 5 out of 5 stars. And please keep at it. It's the long-term game. It does get rough, does get intense, but you can do this. Save your money, put it to something else, find some hobbies, you know, have a good support system. That's all I got for you. That's the message. I just want to share my story on tobacco, how I got addicted, how I became addicted in my early teens and leading up to adulthood. Now I'm in my 30s reflecting, and I hope this video was helpful. I hope the content that comes after this, you guys resonate. If it was, please smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss a video. Tobacco is wacko. Let's ignite the world.